Welcome to Investible Partnerships, where we talk to industry leaders about growing revenue-generating partnerships. I'm your host, Des Russell, and co-founder of Partner Elevate. And the daily battle for partner success is forcing channel leaders to rethink how to maximize their relevance and value so they can be a driver of partner impact. So let's jump in and find out how. Hi everyone, we're in Denver, Colorado, Investible Partnership Podcast, and we've got a special guest with us, same hairstyle, different accent, but
I don't have an accent.
Let's get our guest Vince to introduce himself.
I'd love to do that. So Des, thank you so much for having me as a guest. So excited to be here. I'm Vince Menzione. I'm the CEO of Ultimate Partner and the host of the Ultimate Guide to Partnering podcast. And great to spend time with you, my friend, in Denver at the Catalyst Conference today.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic 3 days. We've spent 3 days in Denver. This is the second partnership conference that Partnership Leaders has put together. The last one was in Miami last year, and I think you and I were sitting in 100-degree heat trying to have lunch, and
yes.
That was our first meeting in the partnership space. After working together at Microsoft as well.
It's crazy, right? Our paths crossed at Microsoft, and then you and I have been having like this phone. It's like meeting. I mean, it's so funny. Like we're halfway around the world from each other, right? We're meeting at all out of hours for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
been like best buddies. And I couldn't be a Catalyst last year because I was actually here in Colorado at a wedding, so I couldn't be in Miami, which is where I live. So.
But it's been so good. I think the Partnership Leaders Conference is really bringing together, I think it was 700 people that we've had here, and from all over the world. I think 24 or something like that, different countries from all over the world. And it's really been a focus of bringing the partnership community together on this platform and community called Partnership Leaders. So we've had individual contributors, we've had VPs, we've had partner managers, we've had a whole suite of partnership operators coming together to learn best practice, to understand more about this world of partnering, and also to try and help each other win a little bit quicker and a little bit more, because this partnership space is really a space that is having a huge amount of investments by every single company, which every single company is a tech company. But Vince, you spend a tremendous amount of time working with the hyperscalers that have a huge majority of this tech ecosystem. Talk to us about what are you seeing in that particular market as regards to partnering?
Yeah, so maybe it helps just to share with you a little bit of this journey. Right? So I've had a career, I've described it as 4 successful business transformations, carried a bag in the early days of wireless computing, did a turnaround where I built a channel, spent almost a decade at Microsoft, one of the hyperscalers, and got to work with both Steve Ballmer and then Satya Nadella as CEO, and then went off on my own and started this journey as a podcaster. And so really been seeing has been this, I would say, the increase in the importance of the 3 tech giants, the 3 hyperscalers, as we like to refer to them, and the fact that the amount of massive build out and investment that it takes to build out these data centers around the globe. The technology, the infrastructure, the networking, the software, the 3 clouds of software that reside on top of it. And now this generative AI increasingly important IP layer that they're now building into their offerings makes them more, I mean, they really are the dominant players when you think about this, right?
Yeah.
And we look at the independent software vendors, the SaaS community, really coming in underneath those hyperscalers in a way, not diminishing their importance in their IP, but they really are becoming more and more reliant on these 3 hyperscalers. So their importance is there. I talked about how to best partner with them, how to take advantage of this massive opportunity. Between the 3 hyperscalers, There's over $200 billion in durable cloud budgets that they hold with the large enterprises and down-market organizations. And so how do we, in the partnering community, take advantage of working, co-selling with, aligning our products and solutions and offerings with, and drive incremental benefit for our organization? So that was what my talk was about yesterday. It's really, really great to be here, sharing what I would say these experiences from years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we often forget in partnerships that their partnerships didn't just happen in the last 10 years since cloud and SaaS started to really dominate how we deliver and buy technology. We've had decades of it.
Well, let's talk about your journey. So I know your experience at Microsoft, but how did you get into the partnership?
Well, it's funny. There's asked this question on the Investible Partnerships podcast all the time, and you get such different answers. And I think not everyone's road to partnerships is the same, which is great. It kind of makes this community a community where people bring different perspectives and different ideas. So for me, my role in getting to partnerships was really, I was in the industry team at Microsoft. Prior to joining Microsoft, I owned my own business, and I was a Microsoft partner. And my goal was to make sure that I got as much relevance and mindshare from Microsoft as I could as a partner, right? So what do? You start to understand the economics of the hyperscaler and how they're compensated, and you start to build a bit of a map of key influences, and you kind of start to build a bit of a game plan.
Yes.
And actually that game plan then starts to roll out into your sales and marketing and how you go to market. And, we got to a point where we won the collaboration partner of the year in Australia. Nice. And through that we built a product. We took this product, the product got acquired, and I started to work for a company that acquired it. And we started to build a channel for this product. And it was just an experience here in North America as well. And it was an experience that kind of led me into spending 5 years with that company and then going to Microsoft and then spending 7 years in the channel at Microsoft.
So actually, it's a similar journey because I was at a Microsoft partner, a company we had built the channel for and then came over as well. What was that experience like going from being with a smaller organization into the tech giant?
It was, I've always been a Microsoft fan, and it was kind of daunting, right? When you've joined an org and you've joined this organization and you're like, you've got the 3 months of enablement that's coming down the line and all your compliance stuff that you've got to do. And everyone says to you, don't rush through it. Don't rush through it because you just want to get it done. And the reason they say don't rush through it was you never get to the end of it, right? And you get to the end of the quarter and your hiring manager's going, hey, I've got a couple of red dots on my scorecard here around training. You best get onto it. So,
I think that was the one criticism of being internal at Microsoft is we had so much that we had to do internally. And not that Microsoft doesn't focus on customers and partners because they do. There's a tremendous amount of passion there, but there was just so much to do internally and support.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think what really gave me a great perspective and being successful in my role at Microsoft was actually I'd been on both. I'd now had the experience of being inside and outside of the channel.
That's right.
And that really led me to starting Partner Elevate in 3 years ago in 2020, because I was now dealing with the SMB team, partner team, 3,500, 4,000 partners, and I was looking at every partner discussion I had. I was looking at those partners and going, I know you. I was you before.
Exactly.
And I can see the challenges that you go through in running your business. I can see the challenges you go through in terms of prioritizing what you need to do with your with the vendors that you work with. They want your mind share, you want their mind share, They want your attention. You just want some help to get the business ahead. And the biggest realization was that I had something bigger to contribute to more partners. That started the idea of Partner Elevate Investible Partner.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that experience, because after I left Microsoft, I started the podcast 7 years ago. I was doing some amazing consulting work, and one of my clients was the largest software company in a particular market. We won't mention which one, but $1 billion publicly traded company, and they asked me to come inside, and it felt really good at the time because they were doing a lot of great work. And I went back inside for 2 years after being at Microsoft, and we received Partner of the Year awards. We were the top co-selling partner in 3 industries, and I was building this amazing brand and partnership strategy for the company. And then things changed, and I became an employee of the CRO of the organization. I recognized the struggles, right? We talk about, like, how do you get partnerships right? I left, and I won't say it was necessarily out of frustration, but out of a real burning desire to help organizations at scale to be more successful partnering. And that's why it's become my mission now, that, like, I want every organization to achieve their greatest results partnering. And I've made it my life's work now to, my ultimate desire is that every organization, the partnership role will be a leadership role at the C-suite of every organization. It'll be up and down the organization. Partner will achieve its true place as being at least the major contributor, or at least an equal contributor to direct sales function within the organization.
That's a really, really close alignment to when we think about the Partnership Leaders Catalyst conference here in Denver. It's really about elevating partnerships to have a seat on that executive table where it's a function that is well understood, well funded, and well supported, because it's really starting to take 30, 40, 60% revenue as a contributor to some of the biggest and largest SaaS companies in the world. So at this event, there's been an amazing amount of sessions that we've attended. Something that comes to mind was the keynote yesterday with Stripe. As I said earlier on, the Chief Partnership Officer at Stripe, partnerships didn't start in the last 5 years. She was the sixth hire in AWS in the partnerships team.
Wow.
In 2010. Yeah. So it actually got me thinking, AWS 2010, it kind of feels like it's not too long ago, right?
No, it wasn't. In fact, I had one colleague at Microsoft who left Microsoft to start up the public sector business at AWS around 2010.
Yeah.
And it was a startup. Yeah. It was a startup. And look at this $88 billion of cloud revenue now. Yeah. The numbers are astounding.
It is crazy. And in her talk, what really resonated was the same challenges that partnership teams were facing 16 odd years ago, 13, 16 years ago, are the exact same challenges in a larger scale now. You were dealing with hundreds of partners, now you're dealing with tens and thousands of partners. There was a couple of vendors out there that had partner channels. Now there's 9,000 technology vendors that have a through partner or two channel business model. And the challenges are a bit daunting sometimes. So when you think about it from an ultimate partner, what do you think are the right principles that you should start to think about when you're trying to partner in an organization like that?
Well, so I've identified, this came out of the work, obviously, the career, the long history of doing this, and then over 200 podcast episodes and interviewing people about what makes successful partnerships and when partnerships fail, why they fail. And so I've organized around a set of operating principles. I was a big fan of, we talked about Stephen Covey earlier, big fan of Stephen Covey and the 7 habits. Sometimes they're habits, sometimes they're principles. But I believe principles come first and tactics come second. We spend so much time on tactics. Tactics are very individual to the type of organization, function, what you're looking to achieve. But these universal principles I've organized around the 7 start off with the internal victory. Like, how do you get your organization to achieve its mindset, get the executive commitment of the organization, and align to a vision and a set of operating principles and OKRs for the organization? You need to get that first, right? Before you lock arms with a partner, right? You got to lock arms with a partner. You need to get your internal organization structured for success. And then trust always has to be involved. When you lock arms with a partner, trust has to be in the room.
Yeah.
Without trust, I'd like to either refer to it as the oxygen in the room or the lifeblood of partnerships. If you don't have trust, you don't have partnerships. You have a transaction.
Yeah.
And then we move on to the other side. And effective partnering includes several components, but I've organized around like 3 sets of things that are fundamental and true. Maniacal focus, right? So once you've gotten your vision internally for what success looks like, and you've used that vision really to instill in the organization or rally the organization around why we need to go do this. Then when you go to the other side to the partner, you have to decide, like, what's the one thing we're going to go do together? What's the thing that's going to set us apart? What is our better together? That's the vision for the partnership. And then organize your set of objectives and key principles and metrics that you're going to drive against that. Yep. But you have to apply maniacal focus to that. And I've seen so many times, I've been in the room, and we'll have a great meeting. We'll do a QBR with a partner. We used to do this at Microsoft all the time. And then I'd never hear anything about that partnership again. We'd all be high-fiving when we left. And 6 months later, I'm like, well, what happened with that partner? And nothing happened, crickets. So if you're not applying a maniacal focus, and that is constant communication, that's inspection of the data, inspection of the numbers, ensuring that you're aligning on, are we good here? Are we green here? Those are all important to the success. Maniacal focus. Then brand and story, like you talked about this, like the what's in it when you were working as a partner trying to work with Microsoft. Yeah. How do you show up as a shiny quarter in a bucket full of shiny quarters? You figured that out, right? Yeah. That's how you got successful. And that's ultimately how you joined Microsoft. But organizations don't do that. They try to be all things to all people. You have to have that one thing that sets you apart. And I'd like to go back to the what's in it for me, to the Microsoft side. Like, why is Microsoft even interested in working? You need to define that very discreetly. Niche it down to that one thing that sets you apart. And then build that brand and story. And then the next thing you go do is you have to go execute results, right? So start small. And then you can build this operational model around it. But you have to start with maybe an account, maybe with a vertical market, where you think you can have the most attribution and drive the greatest result quickly. And then build your business from there, build your flywheel. And then come back to your brand and story, because you're going to use those results to say, this is why I'm relevant to you. I'm doing this. Yeah. And I like to organize around, like, this is what I'm doing for you as my partner. This is what we're doing together jointly. And this is what you're doing for me. And those 3 buckets, whether it's pipeline, it's revenue, it's number of wins, it's all the metrics that you're going to drive your business against. You do that and you build this dashboard, and you are continually coming back to the data.
To the data.
Yes.
I think that's been a massive learning from the Partnership Leaders Conference here is, as leaders in the field, how do we partner better and more effectively? And one of the core themes through a lot of these sessions has really been quality over quantity.
Yes.
In partnering. But then when we double click on that and we go, well, what does quality over quantity mean for a partner who's partnering with you, is coming right back to that focus. And as hard as it's quite easy for a vendor to be really focused on what they want to do with their partners, because they've got a strategy, they've got a number of OKRs or KPIs around particular industries or verticals or products. When we replay this to a partner who is not dealing just with one vendor, is dealing with many vendors, is probably dealing with a business that is predominantly technology related, is predominantly, they might have a leadership team, there might be partners that are quite large and GSIs. We're not talking about those, but those partners in small, medium, corporate, large system integrators. The reality is it's so hard for them to be able to pick a focus, because the focus is something that is challenging them across their business. Their focus is challenging their go-to-market. They need to niche down and not be everything to everyone. But the reality is they're really challenged with being able to get enough demand coming in from one particular vertical or one particular type of customer.
That's right. But you have to niche down. You have to niche down. You have to know exactly what your ICP, or ideal investment profile, looks like.
Yeah.
And you have to niche down to it. And then coming back on this next piece, right? So once you've gotten all that greatness going on, you know this, the seventh principle comes in, right? I built this great business with Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. And then the tech giant goes and changes their business strategy, like they do from time to time, right? So you need to be agile. You need to apply agility as the seventh principle. And Microsoft just did this, right? They just basically said to all of the partner ecosystem, if you don't have a transactable marketplace offer, you're no longer relevant to Microsoft.
Yeah.
And so all of these ISVs, independent software vendors, SaaS companies, and even systems integrators and channels, they now need to think about transactable marketplace offers first, and build and change their strategy. So if you weren't paying attention, intuitively listening for those signals, and that's why you need to have a listening mechanism with Microsoft or Google or Amazon. You need to be listening for that feedback, and you need to build your relationships internally. It all comes back to this, right? We talk about how you built relationships internally at Microsoft when you were a partner. I did. We both have done that since. And you need to have those listening mechanisms so you really have to intuitively know where you need to take your business. And that's where agility comes in to play. So you're not left on back footed, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing that I would love to be able to see every partnership manager or every partnership facing role is to really just have you've got to have this empathy towards what you're actually asking the partnership to do, because you are asking for attention, you're asking for investment, and you just have to make sure that you are going to get the results that you need before you start to invest that time, the energy, and the resource. I think where we go too far down the road is it's great to try things and it's great to take small steps with your partners, but we've got to be really super clear up front about the overall objective of this partnership, because that's got to really determine whether this is a go or no-go thing. And in your experience, do you think we're good at really being clear with partners what we want from them? Or do you think that we sometimes are blinded by what we're trying to achieve as an organization?
Well, that's a loaded question. So I think you struck a chord when you said empathy. And so often we're insular and thinking only about our own set of objectives. And this is where empathy needs and trust all come in. And I talk about mindset. I talked about mindset a little bit in terms of internal victory. Like, you need to lead with mindset. And mindset is inclusive of empathy. Empathy is a component of it as well. And learning how to fail fast and learn from those mistakes and moving on. But always having that growth mindset.
Yeah.
And to your point, like you might apply, like, this is what I'm looking to achieve. And maybe you're going to learn with empathy that maybe what you're looking to achieve isn't exactly what the partnership needs to look like. And so you need to be malleable in a way to course correct and make sure that and that's why the joint vision needs to happen. And that joint vision, you come in with your own vision, they have their vision, but then building that joint vision is where empathy enters the room. It's where you're having a lot of communication and diplomatic dialogue, but a dialogue where you're being open to conversation. Because you have to say, and this is where sometimes partnerships really fail. People they want to be so diplomatic that they don't say what they need to say.
Yeah.
And then they walk away from the meeting and they're saying, well, we're not going to get what we're going to get, so we're just going to disengage. Or they'll tune off
or
the partnership.
Or they just go quiet.
Exactly. And that happens so often. So you really have to look at, we can equate this to marriage, we can equate this to any really strong relationship building exercise where you need to have that continual and constant communication and feedback. Two-way feedback is just so important.
Yeah.
And it brings up a really interesting point that I wanted to talk about, which is like getting back in the room and doing events. And that's why I'm moving what I'm doing into live events, because I do believe there is a craving, and it's why this event was so desirable to so many of us. They almost doubled the attendance this year from last year. It's because people want to have that communication. They want to have that two-way communication with one another. They want to have that feedback loop that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just ran an event a month ago, right?
Yeah, it was wildly successful. We had hosted our first Ultimate Partner Live digital event, but it was a live digital event. We co-hosted alongside Microsoft. Microsoft sponsored it. We had several great executives. Tackle came on board as a partner, and it was wildly successful. And now we're going to be moving into doing live in-person events. The first one is going to be November 14th and 15th in Dallas, Texas, at the Microsoft headquarters. And then we think we're coming to Australia. I think we're going to be doing something in Australia together.
Yeah, we've had some good discussions the last couple of days, and I think that there is a massive appetite for this, and we would love to partner Elevate, and as regards to partnering, we would love to partner and bring something like this to the APAC region.
I can't wait. I can't wait to come. Of course, I want to come to Brisbane, but Sydney is the kind of the locale, and I've never been, so it's going to be an exciting trip. I'm looking forward to doing this with you.
Yeah, no, it's going to be absolutely massive fun. And we've been trying to actually get together for a long time. Right?
A long time.
Just do something together. I think there's it's probably, I think this is the partnership world, right? When you have this alignment, when you have alignment on a number of different scales, on the way you think, the way you see the opportunity in the market, the way you want to address the opportunity in the market, and you leave space for each other, because in reality, there's a space for all of our thoughts, all of our frameworks, and all of our thinking in the market. There's no one framework to rule them all, if you know what I mean. Yes. And I really feel from a partnering point of view, and this is what we do so well in this partnership leaders community, it's all about winning together. And your experience, my experience, and the other thousands of partnership professionals out there, there's centuries, which probably gives a lot of our age away. There's centuries of experience that we all really need to learn from. And I actually did a post about this on a poll LinkedIn. And there's this, as we craft this, as we master our craft in partnerships, I really feel that there's these two dimensions that we are always trying to balance. And I actually see that when we don't balance, or we're out of balance, it's reflective of the results that we're seeing from the partnership. And the two dimensions are the art of partnering and the science of partnering.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
And we're going to get philosophical here, right? So to bring it home, the art of partnering would be, I'm at the beach, we're building a sandcastle, I've got a couple of buckets, and I'm starting to build this castle up. Vince walks along, and Vince says, "Hey, that looks like a really good castle. I've got a bucket of shells. Would you like me to put some shells in here? Because I think it will look good." So you come and you stick the shells on there.
I love this.
We've now created something, but it's more great. It looks good. It feels good. You've helped me build it. That's kind of the art. That's kind of how I think about the art of partnering.
I love it because I live at the beach, so now you got me thinking about being at Jupiter Beach. But then what happens, I think you were going to allude to this, is like if a wave comes by, it can blow out our sandcastle.
Exactly.
Because it's only built on art.
Exactly. So how do we think about the science of partnering? And I've got another analogy which I'm going to drop in. Think about the science of partnering like Lego. Yeah. Lego blocks. A really clear instruction on what to build. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 steps. You're going to connect it in this particular way, and you're going to build something that is a lot sturdier, can probably get used. It might be a Lego that's a boat that you can run on the water, or something tangible, but you're building that empire, right? And it's very structured, and you can measure your results. You built it. There's no pieces left over. It's sturdy, and that's the science of partnering, which is the ultimately we're looking to grow revenue. We're either saving the company revenue in partnerships, or we're making the company revenue. And partnerships is making the company revenue, right?
Yes,
is it not?
Without revenue, there's no, and that's why I talk about getting results, right? If you don't drive the results for the business, if you can't show concretely that there is additive benefit, you're getting more, I like to use the term at bats, like I'm getting more opportunities. I'm increasing my deal velocity. In other words, it's quicker to close a deal because I have, whether it's a partner, trusted partner who's influencing, or I'm one of the 7 seats at the table, as our friend Jay McBain likes to talk at. And then my close win ratios are higher.
Yeah.
Either because I've added more of a solution, I've layered in a complete solution, or the partner has a trusted relationship. Oftentimes organizations talk about the Microsoft or another hyperscaler, in that they have those executive relationships that maybe you don't have, where they can come into the C-suite and say, this is a partner that we trust. And so all of those factors come in. So increasing, hitting your KPIs more effectively and hitting bigger KPI numbers, overachieving KPI numbers are what partnerships are all about.
And I think it's also, you talk about executive buy-in and executive relationships. There's a lot of partners in every ecosystem that don't have that level of executive buy-in, or they're not at a level of working with a vendor where they get the chance to sit down with the executive of engineering, or something like that. So how do you think about the results from a partner that doesn't have the ability to show up in that particular way? Does it just come down to the brass taxes of the vendor is looking for, let's take Microsoft as an example.
Okay.
They've got a solution partner program now, the old partner program, and a lot of challenge around that. And there's really 3 things they want to see partners do: drive net new customer acquisition, get your technical skills, and grow the share. Right. And they've been really deliberate on what that is. And so showing up with those results elevates where you are positioned in how the rest of the organization sees you. That is how you start to build towards that credibility and trust that allows you to be positioned in that vendor or that hyperscaler to have those conversations. Would you agree, disagree? Is it that simple, or is there any other advice that you could give the rest of the partners that aren't a GSI or aren't a multi-million-dollar organization to show up in front of a partner manager?
So I think it comes back to that one thing. I think it comes back to that being that shiny quarter. What is, because we talked about those 3 generalizations, right? But is there a pain? Is there something that you uncover that you can do differently, better and differently than anyone else? And I think that, to me, is you're different. How you become highly differentiated.
That differentiation starts to show that leadership.
That's right.
And the differentiation is on a number of factors. Internally, how you're viewed in terms of the value you unlock for a customer.
That's right.
Because I actually think that that is in partnering. Why besides driving cost of sales down and everything like that, in terms of why companies build partner ecosystems, it's what is the additional value that you can add on top of this vendor's product.
That's right. And recognizing that the customer isn't just buying your one solution. Right? They are solving for a business problem. And that's where, and by the way, they're going to look to their trusted advisors as well to help solve that problem. There's a consumerization almost that's happened in IT. And I talked about COVID and what's happened since COVID, right? We have become, all of our buying behavior, 3 clicks on my phone and Amazon shows up with a box in 12 hours, right? We expect the same thing in technology. And when you're buying, let's say you're buying a vehicle, I bought a Jeep 6-8 months ago. I spoke to several friends that had the same model, and I asked them for advice. Now, I also talk to them. So I think that people are bringing a little bit more of their buying behavior as consumers into the room. So I might be making a decision about your solution, and I'm going to ask the other vendors that I'm working with, what do you know about that solution? How do you trust that solution? You've worked with that organization before. What's their delivery capacity like? I'm not going to trust you as a sales rep calling you. By the way, I'm not even going to take your phone call.
Yeah,
probably. But that's not order. I mean, I might not even have a phone any longer. I'm not going to respond to your email. And so that's your entry into the market, your ability to affect the decision process. And then also I need to work with these other organizations because I'm delivering my solution, but it's not just my solution that the customer's buying to solve the solution. That's why partnership, that's where the benefits of partnership come in. Building the trust, building the credibility, completing the solution, accelerating the deal flow. I mean, all those things.
No, it's been good. I think
great conversation.
We can go for it. We can talk for a long time.
We'll do it for. We'll just do like a weekly podcast.
Yeah. We've got to do more. And
I love that.
I think the opportunity to drill into a bunch of those principles that you mentioned is something that I think the Investible Partner audience and particularly your audience would absolutely love to. So
love that.
We'll make some time. So I like to do things a little differently, as you know, Vince. So
you're not going to ask me who the 3 seats at the dinner table? That's my question.
Absolutely not. We've all got our own thing, right? So we call this the Partnership Quick 5. And I'm going to ask Vince.
And I haven't seen these questions before, by the way.
You don't see the questions. So it's how quickly, what's top of your mind when I say, I'm going to give you a couple of words, and you just blurt out what's top of your mind. Remember, this is a rated show, so no expletives.
Oh, okay. And can I phone a friend?
No, you cannot.
Okay,
There's no phone a friend. There's no phone a friend on this one. So we've got 5 questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. Cool. Okay, so if I said to you, partnerships thrive on?
Trust. That's easy.
Easy. Partnerships embody?
Oh, that's tougher. Partnerships embody one word?
You can give a couple of words.
Joint value.
Love it. Through partnerships, you?
Achieve your greatest results.
Good tagline. Partnerships succeed through?
Joint value.
Love it. That's 5. Well done.
I love it. So much fun.
Well done.
So great to see you, Des.
Yeah, lovely to see you in person again, Vince.
Same here.
Hopefully we see you down in Australia.
December
or something like that.
December looks like
it might be a chance to get you there.
Might be there for the holidays.
Yeah, it would be great. So our audience, the Investible Partnership audience, how can they learn more about you and follow you? Where should they go and what should they listen to?
Yeah, so Ultimate Guide to Partnering podcast on all channels, Spotify, Apple, Google, and your favorite listening platform. Also a YouTube channel. We're not using it exclusively, but we are starting to use it more now with video. And then the Ultimate Guide to Partnering.com or theultimatepartner.com or ultimateguidetopartnering.com will take you to our web properties. We have posted our digital event, so people can go and sign up and watch that, as well as look at our previous episodes. Sign up for our newsletter there. You also can sign up for our newsletter on LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn newsletter as well that's actually doing very well. We have a great subscription for that.
I love reading that once a week. It's really good. But Vince, thank you so much. It's great to have you on the show, and look forward to doing more of these with you.
Des, so great to be part of this journey with you. I'm so proud of you doing this podcast. We've been talking about it for so much time, and honored to be a guest. So thank you so much for having me.
Thanks very much, Vince. Catch you later. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Investible Partnerships. Subscribe wherever you listen and visit investablepartnerships.com for the transcripts of today's show.